Chapter 57, Borderline Mob 100's Humanity. Narrator. Some quick steps or trails of oilified white feathers moved our 17 Democratic Freedom Warriors at the brink of absolute zero, setting their auras at 0.01% as they began to hunt down the 3 remaining 4K Rockets Knights. Divided into Team A, Team B, and Team C, each now heading towards one of their 3 targets, easily being viewed. Fact, 3 separate auras of demonic insanity felt type of aura could be felt throughout 4K Jock and Rock's entire physical being as a planet. Team A, being led by its head captain, Max 2, come across the 4K Rockets Knight known as the Obstacle Borderline Mob 100, who now stands on top of the highest mountaintop-like cliff 4K Jock and Rock has to offer, and stares down upon Team A. Max 2. What say of you, my opponent, caught held high with the title of 4K Rockets Knight? Myself and my fellow comrades have come to challenge you to a battle which is promised to hold on to your own survival, possibly even one to the death. Borderline Mob 100. You make me laugh, former member of the 12 general seats. What is your purpose in showing yourself before my 2 eyes after all these years? Max 2. My fellow former friend, it is because I once knew you in a point in time in which your humanity was more intact. Upon sensing your mental aura, I can conclude that nearly all your humanity is almost lost to complete darkness. It is a mystery to myself as well, but in exchange for a battle where you barely hold on to your survival and possibly even your life, all we ask is that you tell us who you once were when you had a humanity. Cygnus. Remember, Father, that those 4K Rockets Knights had us flee. So if you don't mind, I as your son propose we make for strategy. Just like your own words that you have bequeathed to I, your son. Always remember, never forget, that each of the remaining 4K Rockets Knights had one of the 3 underworld Tartarus warlord Nobunaga's power basically at their own disposal, not being controlled like a puppet in previous matters that we have encountered on our journey at war with Zaya's villain pawn servants. Alongside myself, this I am, Cygnus, were Power Hermit and Tackle against Borderline Mob 100, whom to my yonder ears and eyes partook, was able to hold on to his sanity even after being a vessel of a complete takeover from Dragon Emperor on Lotus Serpent's fangs. Max 2. Always remember, never forget, that your allies and friends, numbered in 12, now possess the power of a single Zodiac. Yet the power is still a mystery because we have not actually used it in combat.
Did you select them off? I thought Russell bring some.
Okay.
That probably got him.
Okay. We will not get disarray. We will not get disarray. As Democratic Freedom Warriors, on my honored, valid word, state we take the battle to the enemy with an ultimatum element of surprise, for they do not know we now have the power of the 12 Zodiacs. Borderline Mob 100, let this shit be known now. Surprise, nigga. A born again hooligan only to be named Max 2 again. Told you I'd use that. Borderline Mob 100. So to tell a tale from my mind, that when at that earliest time I can recall, which was actually human, just living as an everyday average man, I can non-fabe you all from there. At that time, peace and prosperity prevailed throughout Gia's galaxy and cosmos. Though it is very faint of a memory, I can still recall my name from birth, and it was Perseus Habituus. My habituous cannabis. As a young man, I ran a memorabilia type shop on my home planet Saktik. On a global disaster, Desire rained down his chaos, imprisoning every Saktitonian to mine as slaves for his precious diamond, valuable to he only the Almighty King on 4K Jock and Rock. I was one of the select men and a few to be viewed by Zaya's eyes in the lineup. What luck be to have it, the Almighty King chose me solely out of his lineup. He then whispered into my ear, kill all who oppose me as one of my 4K Rockets Knights. You no longer have a name as citizen from Saktik. Instead, I give you in a title of 4K Rockets Knight and servant name to I, that be now Borderline Mob 100. Mob 100. From that point on, my humanity ceased into non-existence. Long story short, you all are looking at a demon in his sanity with the body of a physical man. Parenthesis, last with insanity. Enough reminiscing on my part. How about we treat 4K Jock and Rock as our own personal war battlefield? Tackle. Max 2, heed my words of and plans of actions. As freedom fighters, we owe it to the remaining slave population and remaining citizens of 4K not to treat this place like some type of nuclear holocaust. Your genius of a son was already moves ahead with his prototypes called AI breathing, so I propose we take the battle dance flight all the way to the stars. Max 2, your suggestion on how we are going to make that trip? Tackle. Ragnarok, carrying us all into the sky. Afterwards, I'll use my powerhouse strength to launch everyone individually the rest of the way up. Of course, you will be last I do launch, for Ragnarok needs to be loyal next to his lifelong companion friend. Max 2, leave of negotiation. Team B and Team C, depart now and continue the hunt. Negotiation with Borderline Mob 100 to me, captain of Team A. So my son Cygnus, yes father. Max 2, I presume you packed enough AI breathing masks, right? Throw me one extra so I can politic a flat conversation with Mob 100. Cygnus, I have no clue of your intentions, father, but here you go. One AI breathing mask. AI breathing mask symbolizes COVID-19. Surgical mask. Allows them to breathe in outer space. Oxygen. Max 2, listen up, Borderline Mob 100. On my integrity, I promise you a battle in which you may not come to be the victor or even escape with your life. A battle of unseen proportions where you will want to give it your all just to continue on living. Only condition we take our battlefield into outer space. Borderline Mob 100, I'm intrigued of a battle to my supposed death. How am I to breathe in space? Max 2, here, catch. Put this device on your face and mouth. It will allow you to breathe amongst the stars. Of course, you have my son Cygnus to thank. How you make it into outer space be your own predicament. For we guys, Democratic Freedom Warriors, our voyage into outer space be Ragnarok. I unsheath you from my back in order for you to take on your bestiary form of an albino feathered winged dragoon. Now, my lifelong companion, I'm sorry to say I need to use you as my taxi. Ragnarok, I heard the whole conversation, Max 2. Transform now do I. Come Cygnus, come Tinkle, come Potion, come Power Hermit, come Tackle, and lastly but not mostly forgotten, come Max 2. Everyone hop on my back. Back to back. And just hold on tightly to my feathers. Okay, everyone on board and holding on to me firmly. Now we take off to the highest altitude I can reach of 4K Jock and Rock sky. Narrator. So reaching his max altitude, did Ragnarok address Tackle to fulfill his role? Tackle. Humanoid form of Titanic Mountain Fist C. Roly. Get it inside your ego, Mob 100. I go by the name now being Tackle Titanic Mountain Fist. Tackle's characteristics while in Titanic's humanoid form were basically an earth boulder suit of armor. Now who be first? Tackle grabs the O-Full Power Hermit by both his arms, swinging the O-Full around 360 degrees rotation, then launches him the rest of the way into outer space. Tackle said this after his first launch had been tossed. Don't forget to put on your AI breathing mask, you old fool. So as he did with Power Hermit, he did the same unto Cygnus, Tinkle, Potion, and of course a warning notice to be prepared for the launch they each took. Lastly was Max 2, except before he could launch Team A's captain, he had to call upon his newly developed ability used for flight from Titanic called Shiro-Lee Space Dust. Tackle then grew wings on his back made of earth boulder, grabbing firmly onto Max 2 by his hands and took flight off Ragnarok's back. Max 2, now lifelong friend, return to the sheath on my back in your weapon form as I chop blade. Narrator. Tackle then launched the final member of Team A into outer space, then followed afterwards. Borderline Mob 100. How am I going to reach outer space, I wonder? I know. Underworld Warlord Tartarus Nobunaga, Dragon Emperor, unloaded Serpent's Fang. I call upon your ultimatum power once more. Dragon Emperor. I already know the situation, Mob 100. We will start off by using only our humanoid form, known as Mob 100's Emperor's Fang. We will see if the battle before us is promised to be true. Narrator. So these characteristics befell Borderline's humanoid form as Mob 100 Emperor's Fang. A blood-red aura, slender, long, and leaked dragon which tied itself around Mob 100 Emperor's Fang's body. Then sprouted wings as his fang-mouthed head hovered above Mob 100's. So with the AI breathing mask on Mob 100 Emperor's Fangs, began the start of the battle dance flight next to come amongst the celestial heavens.